Have you ever wanted to start a profitable tiny home compound or glamping business and figure out how you actually will know if it's going to make money or not? Well, luckily I wrote the book on glamping, and I'm here today to show you how to find a profitable glamp site, how to take one that's already built and maybe make it more profitable, and to see where the diamonds and duds are in this market. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Garrett Brown. I'm the Bigger Pockets short-term rental expert and a short-term rental and glamping investor from Houston, Texas. I've developed 2 viral glamping sites in the past 4 years that generate over $700,000 in annual gross revenue, with it trending up to be $1 million next year. How did I figure out those 2 places were actually going to be profitable that I'm in? I'm going to show you today using the Glamping Calculator that you can get when you pre-order or order my new The Glamping Investor book through Bigger Pockets. I'm going to teach you everything from start to finish that I've learned in my 5 years of glamping, from high-level marketing, high-level operations, structures, everything in between to become successful in this type of business. But this right here is the first step to learning actually where you're going to want to go and if a deal is the right one. So let's get into it. I've seen this deal around for about a year now. It's gotten a couple price reductions. I'm on bigger deals right now on Bigger Pockets. This is where you can find a lot of long-term rental metrics on different properties that are out there. I'm working with them to get more short-term rental metrics included, but luckily we have AirDNA, who is the leading short-term rental data site out there, to be able to provide some clarity into the numbers of what I'm going to show. We have a purchase price of $1.5 million. That's a lot. I'm not expecting everybody that's buying their first glamp ground to spend that much. I spent $500,000 with a mortgage on my first property. So I got in owner-occupied loan. I did what's called land hacking. I bought a house with 11 acres on it, 5% loan down, because I lived in it the first year, and then used that cash to build out my first cabin. And now we're moving on to about 6 cabins onto this land through different permits and other things like that. That one site alone is going to make almost $1 million in revenue once it's built out very soon. So this is exactly how I would analyze this deal. So like I said, 1.5 million, you really need to understand the heart of it. So it says it already makes $200,000 in gross revenue, which we'll verify with AirDNA, and it's tracking to do 12% higher in 2025, which always strikes me because I'm like, why, if it's doing so good, why do you want to sell it? But everybody has different reasons too. So don't let that always get into your head of why, somebody is selling a property. Like even myself, I've explored selling the property because I want to move on to a much, much bigger project with everything I've learned. It doesn't mean it's not successful. I'm just trying to use the capital to move on to something else. But I've kind of wavered a little bit on that and waiting for the right time to really put it onto the market. Keep it going. So they have 5 unique, fully furnished rental homes, turnkey opportunity, value add opportunity. 3 of the cabins present immediate upside with modest updates. Strategic refresh could boost the ADR, and there's additional land offers to expand even further. How much land does it have? I might have missed that. 12 acres. That's a good bit they already have 5 properties. So pretty cool. Nothing crazy, but A-frames do really well. Got a cabin. It looks like 3 houses and 2 A-frames, I believe. These aren't my favorite type of properties to do because they're just kind of basic houses. I'd rather see 1 basic house and then a few more unique ones. But let's take the address and dive into it on AirDNA. So I already know a lot about this area. This is in Logan, Ohio, which is one of the leading STR areas right now in growth and revenue and everything there. This is showing that it's going to, for a 2-bed, 1 bath, 4 guest, you make about $74,000. Again, this is quick and dirty. I would go even further to dive into some of the numbers, but you can see some of these people are making astronomical. This one's projected to make $107,000, $104,000. Right here is the places that we're talking about already. They're making about $44K. This one's making about $53K. I don't have the actual A-frames there, but again, if I dove really into this, I could find the listings. I'm trying to make this as quick as possible for you to show you the calculator. But I would take these numbers and go into my glamping calculator right here. And you can, if you're curious about the Logan market, it's a 98 out of 100, which is some of the highest that you can get there. They're projecting 78K. We know that the less unique ones probably are making about 50K revenue, and then the A-frames probably are very, in that area, I would think, because they're not more updated. But you see that some of the higher performing ones, 90 for a nicer A-frame. Some of the lower houses, you can kind of see unique is winning here. So just keep that in mind if you're expanding. But I'll go in, I'll put 1.4999 as the cost. 20% down is what I have as the down payment. That could vary a little bit depending on what you do. Usually 2 to 4% for the closing cost will kind of do. So I'm putting in 3% right now. This is when you're going to have to decide what you want to put in for renovation cost. If you're going to renovate those 3 cabins to be something better, this will be higher. Or if you even want to put in the fact that you're going to increase the units, but I'll do that in a second. I'm just going to leave it plain Jane for right now. So let's say you put in another $15,000 in furniture, legal costs about $2,000. Let's say your interest rate is about 7%, give or take. Let's say 7.5 for right now. This is May 2025 that we're filming this, so it could have changed a little bit. Your insurance probably going to be closer to about, let's just do 1,000 because insurance is tough nowadays. Taxes, do they have the taxes under here? So yeah, you're going to be paying about $400 a month. That's what it's estimating. I could be a little off on that. I always double check these numbers as I do it. HOA, doesn't seem like there's HOA. You won't have any PMI as well. Occupancy, 71% is what AirDNA is kind of expecting. So I think this is like a very hopeful situation where it says 78,000 projected a year, ADR 304, 71% occupancy. So let's do that, 71%. And then, yeah, I'd say you'd be at like 350, 90% is the top when you do a bunch of money into it. Let's say if you go a little under it, which 250, let's see what those properties were making there. 69%, 226 average daily rate. 226, let's just say 60%. That's like mid-tier is what I'm going to call it right there. So that's your middle case scenario. Best case scenario is 304, 71%. I'd say worst case is you're probably in the 40% for, 189. I think that's a good number to kind of balance it out. And let's play out all the scenarios there. So you have 5 units. So nightly rate, occupancy rate, and each unit could change a little bit, but let's just take a blended average of that. So let's just keep the middle of the line of what it's kind of currently making. 226 at about 60%. So it's 226, 60%. But let's say we have 5 units making that. So then we hit the 5 units. Cleaning fee, this cleaning fee washes out with the expense side right over here. Whatever you put in. So if you're paying $300 a day to clean these units, for all the units, and say you do this turnover 13 times, there's a formula that I could use to pull that up real quick. About $4,000 in cleaning fees, but this washes out with the expenses. Extra revenue sources, which is one of the keys when you're running glamping sites, is, birthday packages, romantic packages, things like that. That's where the extra revenue source is. My personal places that I operate, we make about $1,000 a month extra in profit from our packages, 50% profit margins. My cleaners deliver them and things like that. We order a lot of things off Amazon. So let's say we added $1,000 a month in extra revenue. So now it's projecting about a 306 yearly revenue, which is kind of close to what the listing said. It might be a little higher, but then we go into over here, your mortgage payment's about $10,000 a month, your utilities, which we'll go into shortly, maintenance 5%, anything in green you can change as well. I didn't mention that earlier. I forgot to. Blue cells will automatically populate. Green cells, you can go in and change the number if you want to. So maintenance, let's say we even, there's a little older. So say we do 10% maintenance on them, 5% replacement cost. And this has a 15% management fee. If you're not going to manage it, which I do recommend, but 5 units, you might be able to get with a manager. Let's just say we're giving away 10% to manager, and then OTA fees 3%. Your 10%, let's say you have a couple VAs that help you, and it's about that same. So I would go, and right now it looks amazing, 28% cash on cash return. But let's go into the expenses. Your electricity is probably going to be higher than 350. These numbers are just ballpark. If I had to guess, probably about 100 to 200 a unit. So let's just call it 700 a month. Water and sewer depends on, the location. I'm assuming they're on a septic tank and a water well. These have to be serviced quarterly and things like that. So let's just say it's 150 a month. Trash, you're probably at 150 a month. Internet, you're probably closer to 500 a month for that many units. Security, which is cameras and all that, let's call it 50 a month. And then say you have some propane for fire pits or other things that are there. Again, I'm not diving super into these numbers right now. I would learn, like, is there, what's powered by propane? What's the average? I would call electric companies in the area to really hone in on my numbers. But this is the quick and dirty one. Let's say you spend $100 a month on propane. Then you have your accounting, tax preparation. These are just ballpark numbers. Laundry, probably $250 because you're having more going on. Deep cleans, probably $200 extra that you pay out of your own pocket. Lawn care, $250. 12 acres is a lot. Pest control, $150. So I'm adding a little bit to the expenses. Marketing, I'm gonna get into shortly. Have it all at 0 right now because that's what AirDNA is just kind of projecting with no real marketing behind it. I have some software tools. It's about $200. You'll have to raise the dynamic pricing, would go up some because you have more units. Your business phone line's probably closer to 50. Property management software is a little higher. Guidebook. If you have a virtual assistant, you can change this here. And let's just say you have more software, so 200. And then your supplies, you'll 100 on toilet paper, 100 on paper towels, 100 on toiletries, 100 on welcome baskets. I'm just increasing these base numbers by about the amount of units because most of them I had just put in if you had 1 unit, but green cells you can change, so random supplies. And you also have these advanced financials too to show long-term metrics, all these really big things, gross revenue over time, net income after 5 years, your IRR, capitalization rate, all those things, which I'm not going to get into exactly on this video, but they're there if you need them. So let's see what our cash on cash is now. 21%. That's pretty good. So I really do need to hone in on these numbers. I feel like you obviously need to be bringing $377,000 in cost to the table. You're after repair value. I didn't go into this earlier. This is a number you can just put in. I was going to put it at 500, and then that will change some things in your advanced financials. As you can see, property value changes over time. Let's do a little bit of magic here, and I can show you where the secret sauce is with doing deals. A lot of people think, I need to get the purchase price down. It's all about the purchase price. The actual biggest thing in short-term rentals is getting the nightly rate and occupancy up. Let's just say you partner with an investor or a couple investors. They bring the money, you bring the sweat equity, or vice versa, or however you want to set it up. And let's say that you build 3 more cabins, just throwing out this number. And again, very quick and dirty. Your renovation costs are going to be much higher. Let's say we're doing high-end cabins. That's what I like to do, unique. Probably going to spend about $200,000 a key with everything turnkey into this, amenities, everything there. So let's say your renovation costs go up to $600,000. Let's say you got a big investor behind you. Wishful thinking if you do. There's a lot of ways to figure things out with this. You could get prefab homes, you could do partnerships, you could do park model loans, creative financing. I could get into that if you're really curious. I've done it all. Let's say you have an extra furnishing cost of $50,000 just to have it. You're going to be spending about $1 million up front, right? Your cash on cash goes down. You have a lot more cash into the property. Let's say your insurance rates jump up to $1,500. Your taxes, hopefully they don't jump up too much. Say they do. But now you have 8 units. So let's change that. Cash on cash jumps back up. But then say those 3 units, say they're making the $100K that some of those really nice units were getting close to. That might be a little wishful thinking, but let's do the 80,000, the 71% at 304. So you could do some quick math and average that out. I'm going to times 226 times 5, because that's about the average daily rate the regular ones were making before any improvements. Say these are making 350 times 3. So now your average daily rate has risen to about 275 across all of it. But let's say with these new things and these new viral, unique stays you're building with the really cool amenities, you're able to get your occupancy up to that, let's say 65%. So as you can see, I've raised the nightly rate by 275 now. Occupancy rate is 65. I have the 8 in place. And my cash on cash return is 29.8% from a few of those simple changes. Let's change the management fee. Let's change it to 20%. Your cash on cash is still 24% after building those properties. Let's say you build another one. I'm changing this to 800,000 now for another, and you're able to get to 9 units. That's another nice one. You're able to get your nightly rate up, occupancy up, add another unit. 28.6 now on your cash on cash return. This isn't even including like a marketing budget. So let's say you start doing marketing like crazy, right? Talking very, very high level marketing. I'm adding in, gifts, discounts, all these little things. So let's say you spend $13,000 a month on the marketing. Your cash on cash is still going to be 15%. But if you're spending this on marketing in the right proper way, let's say you hit 75% and you're able to get a higher ADR. Let's say you're able to get to 329 on your rate. because you're doing so many cool things and unique stays and so much good advertising with your insane marketing budget you're spending. You're at 26% cash on cash return. Your yearly revenue is getting close to $1 million there. Your expenses are about $430,000. Your profit is going to be coming in close to about $25,000 a month in profit off of these places, with a 20% management fee in place where they're making almost $150,000 a year themselves. It's a pretty wild deal. I don't know if anybody wants to go in on it, let me know. But this was just a quick and dirty run through. I'm sure I missed a couple things, so don't hold me accountable too much, because I can just explain it if something didn't really make sense for you. And again, I will go much more high level if I was really considering this deal and really break it down. If anybody wants me to go super high level, let me know in the comments and I will, but it would be like an hour long video probably, if not even longer. I just wanted to make this to kind of put it together, let you know about the Glamping Calculator. The only way you can get this calculator is to purchase my Glamping Investor guide through BiggerPockets. Link in the description. It is pre-order right now, but it will be for sale everywhere July 15th. Anybody that buys a copy, I'm more than happy to help analyze a deal with you, do a call, anything like that, to really kind of help you get further along in this lane and answer any questions to the best ability that I can. I appreciate y'all watching all the way through. I hope this was some good info for you, and please go get the Glamping Investor. And I can't wait to make y'all short-term rental a long-term success. See y'all in the next one. I think YouTube wants you to watch one of these videos right here.